Side Scrollers is brought to you by you. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/sidescrollers. It's time for Side Scrollers on YouTube.com. With me, Stuttering Craig. You got a goal? Go get it. Adam Krigler.
Hi, Betty.
Hi, chat. I love you. Mwah.
And producer extraordinaire, Travis Key.
Hi, guys.
And brought to you by you, the G2 community at patreon.com/sidescrollers. And now, broadcasting from our homes, it's time for the number one gaming and entertainment podcast on planet Earth. It's time for Side Scrollers.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and Twitter and Twitch and soon to be Kick. What's going on, everybody? Hey, I'm Stuttering Craig. Welcome to the number one video game and entertainment podcast on planet Earth. It's Side Scrollers. Man, oh man, do we have a good one today. I am stoked to be joined by our guest, but man, we'll be talking to him in just a little bit. First and foremost, let's introduce the team. It's Travis Keys. Hello, Travis. How are you?
Ready. Today's a good day. Got a good guest. Today's going to be fun.
Letting everybody know that not everybody prior to the show was a bad guest, but thank you.
Oh, well, not what I meant, but...
I know. I just like to do that to you. And Blabs has joined us as well. Hello, Blabs.
Hello. Did you know that yesterday was also the day?
The day that you did advance. You didn't quite win.
What do you mean? I totally won. I beat the level. That's winning. Winning.
I mean, it was a small victory, which was important.
Can you just give me a little win for once?
Listen, you win or you lose, Blabs. That's
I
it.
literally won. I just haven't gotten to the end of it yet.
You know what? Here's the thing. Let's figure this out once and for all. Okay, so Adam will be joining us in just a little bit, but today I want to introduce our guest, a guy I'm really excited to be talking to. We're going to dig in to this guy's, in his words, career in just a little bit, as we talk about the old internet career here on Side Scrollers. But man, I am so stoked to be to have joining us today the creator of one of the most popular web series in the late 2000s, early 2010s. It's John from Arby and the Chief. Hello, buddy. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much for having me. You're too kind.
Well, man, I'm so stoked. So here's the thing. Just a quick background on what Blabs and I were talking about. Blabs is in the process of, look at Travis over there. Just totally embracing everything. That's good.
I love it.
So Blabs is in the process of playing through Castlevania for the Nintendo Entertainment System for the first time. She's never played it before. And we have this ongoing series. Now, she hasn't beat the game yet, but she's almost there. And she spent she spent 5 hours trying to beat this one section of the game. And but she was able to do it. So in my mind, she still hasn't won. So John, you get to be the decider. Has she seen success yet? Because in my mind, I don't think so.
I'm getting there. Wins at a time.
I haven't beaten Castlevania on NES either. I have played it, but I beat Castlevania Bloodlines on Genesis because I was a Sega kid.
Dude, Bloodlines was legit.
Yeah, it was dope.
Pretty good stuff. And that I think that's one of the harder Castlevania games too. At least like that old school. Yeah. Well, you could definitely beat the old school Castlevania then. Way better than Blabs. Sorry, Blabs.
I'm affronted.
You're just so mad.
Yeah.
But like I said, so John's joining us today. We're going to talk about Arby and the Chief and everything that goes along with it because there's so much to talk about here. I'm very, very excited about this. But before we get into our conversation, I want to remind you guys can make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button. It's really important that you do. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. We'd greatly appreciate it. You can also find us over on Rumble. rumble.com/side strollers, as well as we stream over on Twitter and Twitch and everywhere, because we want to cast the net as wide as we possibly can and introduce ourselves to as many people as we possibly can. We understand that YouTube's the big pond, but we want to be anywhere and everywhere, because just yesterday, like, we were streaming on Rumble and the Rumble CEO came in while Blaz was playing Castlevania, and he it was awesome. He Rumble ranted a bunch of money, he asked for our input on the platform. It's great, so we get to provide.
It was really great because you two are having this really big conversation about Rumble, and I'm like, die, peasants!
Trying to talk about features they need on their platform and the reputation of the platform and all this stuff.
And I'm just cursing in the background.
Yeah. John, are you familiar with Rumble?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm not on it, but yeah.
Yeah, Rumble is it's an interesting platform, man. It's definitely growing, and they've got a lot of people in place there that are making a lot of good additions to the platform. It's becoming more and more user friendly every day. But
yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think YouTube needs competitors.
100%.
Unfortunately, a lot of them aren't as well-oiled machines as YouTube is, because they've been around for so long.
They got a couple decades on them for sure, and I think that's the one thing is when something hits the internet, people want it to be like, if it's not like YouTube, but we don't like YouTube. It's like, we don't like YouTube, but if it's not like YouTube, go F yourself, right? So,
Yeah.
All right. So we also have, like I said, Twitter. We have Instagram, and tomorrow during this time slot, which we need to do some tests on this, but tomorrow. We're going to be playing Smash Brothers for the first time on the channel, which will be really, really exciting. We're doing a big Smash Fun Time tournament, and Dan Bask, Smash Ultimate,
nice.
The latest one, and we all suck at it immensely, like horribly. So that was the idea. We could play Mario Kart, but I'd kill them.
I tried playing with that Switch Lite as the controller. It's not good. And remind you, I haven't picked up a Smash controller since like the GameCube. So
right.
As it is, yeah.
Well, Smash is a great game because it's you can play it super competitively, or you can just be a total idiot like me and play with all items on ultra heavy, and you want pure chaos with Pokeballs on crazy levels and stuff. I'm not into. I said this the other day. I'm not into like Fox on Final Destination, no item.
Yeah.
Oh, you get that reference,
Oh yeah.
Love it. Hey, let me just tell you, nobody else has got that reference, John. You and I are in this together. Just so you know.
Nice.
All right, so we have all this. Blabs, did you want to? We were talking about the submarine thing yesterday, or the Titanic thing. Apparently, there's an update this morning. Did you want to talk about that?
So they just found debris located at the bottom by the Titanic ship, and they're going to be making an announcement soon, because it says Coast Guard to give update on debris field at 3 p.m. local time, and that's I don't even know, 8 o'clock British time. I don't even know what time that is here. I think soon, maybe an hour or so. But yeah, we'll find out if it's the Titan or not.
Wait.
It's probably imploded.
So they found wreckage down by the Titanic.
I know, shocking.
Yeah. Well, and was it you that posted in our chat, that one of you guys did, that his ancestors were like on
that
the
was
Titanic?
me. I don't know if that's real or not, but if it is, it's wild. So
That would
apparently
be-
somebody on the Titan is related to somebody from the Titanic.
John, have you been following this story at all?
This is fascinating. That
Barely. I've seen a few headlines. That's it.
So
that may be why they wanted to go down there, though, because they thought,
Their
oh,
relatives?
it's my
Why?
history or
Why?
whatever.
That's kind of a weird reason to go down there. Hey, so I know someone who was supposed to die there. Let's go also.
I think the too long didn't read on this story is guy created a sub to treat as people, like to bring people down to Titanic wreckage, right? It was made of like Play-Doh and Cracker Jacks. And
Mind you, the dude's a billionaire and he was using Logitech stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
so
controller.
it's not like he couldn't afford it.
now
you
hold
know?
on, Travis. Hold on. No, but long and short of it, it disappeared, and now it's like one of these stories. It's like, you probably remember this baby Jessica in the well back in the 80s, where she like fell down the well. Do you guys remember that story at all?
I wasn't in the 80s.
Yeah. And the long and short of it, like something happens and everyone goes, "Oh my gosh!" and everyone turns their head that way, and it gets distracted. And it's like, it's obviously tragic, sad people like 5 people died. We get crushed by a tin can in the depths of the ocean and stuff, which is really sad. But I always remind myself of the idea of like, you play stupid games, you have stupid results, and I think going down 8,000 feet down to the ocean in a tin can made of silly putty and string is not a good idea.
Yeah.
No.
But Travis, you were talking about the game controller. Apparently, that's a pretty standard thing when it comes to submarines and stuff. I'm not kidding. That's apparently.
I know, it's real.
I hope it's at least like a wired version of it.
Nah, it's only
you know
batteries.
You know what I'm saying?
Replace
Like,
the
come
batteries.
on.
Please hold.
You got the wireless adapter.
I just can't imagine, and that being your death is because your controller sucks, like
Talk about drift.
I just like I like it. I like it, Vlad. That was good. I'm not just gonna overlook that. That was nice.
That was terrible, man. I'm a
it
piece
was.
of shit.
But I do think that there's something fascinating about the story in that, they only had a certain amount of hours left as far as oxygen goes. And you just like legitimately probably the worst way to die.
Yeah.
Ever?
See,
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about it last night. If I would rather sit in there and starve to death or you don't have enough time to starve to death. So you'd suffocate, right? Well, that's not too bad, but would you rather make the vehicle implode so you die instantly? That would be my rationale. I would just make it implode.
I
Rather
This
got
is
than-
what we've come to. Just like, how would you rather die in a submarine?
And welcome to Side Scrollers, John.
Sorry. That's my train of thought. My
All right,
bad.
nice. We'll hit a couple super chats here to start, and then I want to get in. I want to start talking Arby and the Chief and stuff with Johns. And once again, Adam will be joining us just a little bit, so hang tight. Blake came in and says Craig beat the Lost Levels. Blaz beat Death. Best peak ever. That's right. Well, unfortunately, the people from the Titanic ship couldn't beat Death.
Ouch, bro.
Miku came in with it too. Says activate my Rafflecopter. Goes soy 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 soy. Well, thank you.
There it is. I love it.
Would you like to read that properly?
Oh no! Well, Chief says I can't even say it right. It's like swa swa swa. Like if you make him say it in the Texas speech engine, it doesn't say soy.
Swa swa swa.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, Miku knows what's going on, and Soy came in, says here to tell DSP to get a job. Okay, well, sounds good. Thanks, Soy. Appreciate that. Are you familiar with Darkside Phil?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
John? I don't know if you. Yeah, so are we. Blake came in with the 5. Says, I can't believe people are making jokes about that sub. I refuse to sink to that level.
Oh, God.
It's amazing.
I
stuff.
feel
All right.
bad.
Oh, there's a 19-year-old kid. Like, that's the worst part, though. Is he's just a kid.
Oh, I didn't know there was a kid down there.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
19.
That's sad.
That's-
It's one of them things. Like though, it's like if you go and park your car hanging off a cliff and it falls off a cliff, we can't all be surprised that it fell off the cliff. Like there's been less people down there than there's been on the moon. And think about that for a minute.
Hey,
It's
Blake.
a very dangerous decision to make. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's get into this thing, man. You know what? You need to be on the top. Get out of here, Travis. There you go. All right. All right. So, John,
Top row.
let's talk about this, man. So, Arby and the Chief, right? I want to start with the first thing you see when you watch an episode. Digital fear.
Craig, did you just call me a bottom? Cancel him.
Travis, shut up.
Sorry.
Okay, so digital fear. Where did that come from?
I was in a hurry. I had just gotten Xbox Live, like the package, the headset, and Return to Castle Wolfenstein, and I was in a hurry to get online, and it sounded cool at the time, and as the years went by, I was like, oh my god, it's cringe, but whatever.
Wait. So it's very leet speak for the time with 3s as the E's, which
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
that's something I feel like that leet speak has been lost over the last decade or so. I mean, that's amazing stuff right there.
yeah, it's not really cool anymore, I guess. But I still do it.
We got to pwn the noobs, right?
Yeah.
Own them on up. So okay, so how old are you at the time when you started a digital fear production?
I think I was 19.
So you're just a
Um,
kid.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was either still in high school or just out of high school, and I the first thing I made was Master Chief Sucks at Halo.
Hmm.
I started my YouTube channel in 2007, and Master Chief Sucks at Halo was the first thing I made and uploaded, and that was before YouTube had a partnership program, monetization, anything like that. So I was just doing it, for the hell of it. I'm like, this is dumb, but I will have fun making this, and maybe other people will like it too. And
Right.
then I uploaded it, and it was a huge hit, and it got like millions of views. And I remember running downstairs and saying like, "Mom, look, look how many views my video got." She's like,
Back
"Oh,
then,
that's
how'd
so
your
cool."
mom take that? Like, does
Oh,
she
she thought
know
it was
exactly? Know about how how relevant that makes it on YouTube?
uh she didn't really like, you know she just was, she knew about a little bit about video games and stuff, like as much as like she would observe, and I would like tell her about games and stuff, and she knew I was a fan of Halo. And then she knew that I had like a crude sense of humor, and yeah, she was proud of it. And yeah, she still is.
That's good. I love it's very crude, and I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
one of
the language, I mean,
hey.
it's pretty hardcore.
Well,
But
you're right.
I was just painting, the online sort of environment for what it was,
Right.
and I felt that developers and publishers were turning a blind eye to what it was actually like, you know.
Well, still
And
to this day, I think people turn a blind eye to how interactions are on games like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's still like that.
Exactly.
well, I'm not sure. I think there's a focus on it now of like it being like toxic, and all these measures being put in place and discussed about like, the possibility of using AI to predict what people are going to say and bleep out certain words and stuff and whatever, and toxic trash talk, and making gaming a safe
It builds
place
character.
for everybody. And I've never advocated for like being cruel to people. I don't like that, but like I think there's a difference between abuse and trash talk, and I like trash talk. I kind of miss it.
Well,
like
and it
the
also
days of sorry, go ahead.
it also teaches you when to have a thick skin.
Yeah, right.
So
And if you don't like anybody who's talking to you online, you mute them. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this? This feels like, what is the word? Common sense that you're speaking,
Huh.
John. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's funny.
Yeah.
We actually had a small lesson in this in my family last night. So
Mhm.
I went to a minor league baseball game last night with my daughters for it's like my Father's Day birthday gift, right? Because they fall like in the same thing. So we went to a minor league baseball game last night, and towards the very tail end of the game, there was nobody there, right? There's probably 200 people in a crowd in a stadium that fits 8,000 people, right? So we moved to the very front row, right behind right behind the front plate, our home plate. And this batter goes up. He was the catcher. And then during the game, he was from the other team. He ripped his pants, right? And they announced him as like Pedro, whatever. So as he goes up to bat, I'm like, "Hey, Pedro!" I'm the only like just talking to this guy, and there's a few hundred people there. "Pedro, your pants are ripped." Just kind of letting him know. I'm just stating the obvious, something that everybody knows. And my 9-year-old's like, "Dad, you're so mean." I'm like, "No, I'm just stating the obvious." She's stop being mean. "Pedro, I can see your butt." And like, and like just stating the most obvious things in the world. And my daughters, they literally like go the opposite way. It was total like dad move where they'd run away. And we had to have this conversation. They were totally embarrassed. It was great. And but we had to have this conversation about like, look, I wasn't being mean. I was literally just stating the obvious, and sometimes it's just a little trash talk. That's how
And
the game works. It's okay.
Yeah.
you don't think during practice, if that happened, his own teammates wouldn't do that, then you're wrong.
Right.
You know?
Right. It was spectacular. It was an amazing dad moment. Super dad cringe. It was great. Hey, joining us now, speaking of cringe, it's Adam Krigler. Hey, Adam, how are you, buddy?
Thanks.
I always try to just whatever I'm talking about at the time. I'm always able to bring you in some way. I'm just kidding, Adam. I love you. How are you, buddy?
I think you were doing that guy a favor, trying to reach out to him and say you might want to change your pants, sir, because I can see your ass.
That's right.
Right?
Mhm.
That's how I would have explained it. Like, look, would you want to be out there with your ass hanging out and not knowing that your pants ripped?
Yeah.
No,
See,
no
if
one.
your
no
fly
one.
was down or you had toilet paper on your shoe or something, you'd want someone to
See?
point it out to you, so you're not
Yeah.
walking around all day like that.
Exactly.
He was literally showing his ass.
It was great. So I was, anyways, but I think we're on the same wavelength, John.
do I.
The idea that look, a little bit of adversity never hurt anybody. You know, I think that's important. But so you launch Master Chief Sucks at Halo. It's kind of like were you thinking it's like a one-time deal? It was like, I'm gonna make this video. It's gonna be funny. My friends are gonna laugh at it, and then it blows up. So then what?
At the time, I wasn't thinking long term. I was just like, I got a funny idea. I'll make it, see what happens. And then I got a shitload of views. Can I swear on your show?
You can
Sorry.
swear.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
As much as you fucking want.
I'll be inclined
Fucking
to
do it.
sometimes. So I got like millions of views on that, and I was like, I'll make another one. And there still wasn't any like monetization thing. I was just doing it because I had fun making the first one, and a lot of people are tuning in. So,
And I think I don't mean to cut you off, but I think it's important to let people know when you say millions of views in 2007 is like tens of millions. Like if it's like adjust it for inflation, that's mega viral for back then. Like not everybody was on YouTube every second of the day back then. So
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, because
continue.
back then viral was like 1 million views, right?
Yeah.
Why
It's
not?
like 500,000,
Yeah.
like 10,000 views, whatever. It was, anyways, I'm sorry. Continue, John.
no worries. It's a good point. Yeah. And so I made Master Chief Sucks at Halo 2, in which he plays Halo 2. And it's also a sequel, which I thought was cool. And then I made that, and that was really popular as well. Went down well. And then I went to college, and I remember being in the sort of lobby area, just like studying. It's like between classes, and I got an email from Machinima.com, and they wanted me to be a part of their creative team because they were a small company at the time. They were looking for directors, content creators, and they said, "Hey, we will pay you to keep making these." And I'm like, "Really? Like, cool, like awesome, right?" Because like I was already having fun and I wasn't getting paid for them, and now it's like I get to keep doing that and like get paid like it's a real job. Like, sure. And so I took it on. And then Machinima.com, I'm sure you guys are aware to some degree. That's a whole thing.
So let's talk about Machinima for a minute, because I want to actually get into kind of what that relationship was like. But what year was this? 2007 or so?
2000. That was probably 2008.
2008.
Contacted by Machinima. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Were you still involved in an MCN when the adpocalypse happened?
No, I was only ever with Machinima.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if that partially shielded you, or if you had to deal with that when it happened and all that, or
No, I was insulated from that because I think around that time I was getting a salary from Machinima. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
For
that
those
was,
who
that
don't
was my
know
question.
what Machinima is, break it down for us.
Well, Machinima, in my opinion, is quite a muddy term now. It's basically got three definitions.
Okay.
One is a sort of consumer-level fan-made content, like people use Xboxes and controllers at home to make like fan content, like cinematic content in a real-time engine.
Okay.
And then you have the technical definition, which is just like the excluding the fan part and consumer hardware part, where it's just rendering any kind of cinematic content in an engine that's real time, like Unreal, for instance. Like I would consider that Machinima because it's a contraction of machine cinema, right? And then you have the third definition is the name of the company, which no longer exists now. So, and
Getting some feedback.
Yeah,
Guys
just a
hearing
little bit of cracky crack. That's okay. We'll tough through it. No big
on
deal.
my microphone.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
not sure where
sorry.
it's come.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. So and when
Thank you though. I wasn't sure.
so
What was the company though? Because you got hired by this company. And I'm not aware
Machinima
of this company.
Oh,
Yeah,
machinima.com.
machinima.com. Yeah.
They were based in Los Angeles, and around 2008, I mean, they blew up on the internet. They were huge before they went under. But when they contacted me, they were a small company, and they were just desperate for content creators. And I said, sure.
So this intro is pretty iconic. This is the Machinima intro. And if you dealt with anybody that did any sort of content creation in the late 2000s, early 2010s, knows Machinima. Like almost wanted to work for Machinima, but this was the sound of Machinima.
Yeah, I remember seeing that logo
There it is.
everywhere.
So, and you're right. Everybody had that. Everybody was that. And I went back and I actually looked at the Wayback Machine. So this is actually in Wayback Machine. It more or less captures screenshots of the internet from back then. And Machinima's YouTube channel, from just to put this in perspective, this was from 2008, and how big they were back then. You can see the importance of Arby and the Chief, Digital Fear, like right here, right there, major push from Machinima. At the time, seventh
Can
most.
you blow that up?
Yeah, seventh most subscribed channel all time on YouTube at the time. There was a thing called directors and partners back then. They were massive, absolutely massive at the time. And that is a place where a lot of creators were discovered from Machinima. And they were kind of a startup. A lot of really big creators got their start there. Red vs. Blue was there with Rooster Teeth. They were, I mean, it was a litany of just content creators who were discovered or got their start with Machinima. But so they were massive. So they approach you. They put you on salary to make the show, or did they pay you per show you did or episode you did? What was that working relationship like?
The salary wasn't initial. The first payment model was like $1,000 or something per X amount of views, something like that. And then I don't think they realized how well I would do on that contract, and they ended up revoking it because I was getting so many views. And then they were probably panicking at the office, like, "Oh my God, he's gonna bankrupt us, right?
He's gonna make more money than our CEO. We can't have that."
Yeah. So I guess at that point they decided it's better for them to put me on a salary instead.
Man, yeah, because you would post a video around the Arby and the Chief series, right? And it would blow up, and you were built around. I mean, in theory, the idea of if you're making money based off of your view count, in theory, everybody's making money, right? But I think there's probably some backtracking there. What was your relationship like with Machinima? I mean, outside of the working relationship, did you find them pleasant to work with? I had a brief relationship with Machinima. Obviously, ScrewAttack and Machinima were, I want to say competitors, but we were just different places. Did you work with the Debevois at all? Aaron Debevois? They were like the president and like the Debevois brothers.
Yeah, there's three of them.
Yeah.
I met the three of them. I had dinner with the three of them. In LA. I didn't really have a problem with any of them, and they just seemed like LA corporate types. Not the kind of people that I would be like friends with or anything, but like just I understood that type of person, and it was fine, and they were nice to me. And I had gone over to LA initially just to like meet the bosses, meet the team, and like go to the offices and check out the place. They had rented out like I think a couple just office rooms on a floor, and one of them was the boss's room, and the other room was like the creative team. And then I went in there, and they had a small creative team at the time, and I met them, and they were super nice. And yeah, so I was there for a few days, but the vast majority of the time I was remote in Vancouver, up here in Canada land. and sending my work over the web, and they would throw it in the programming queue and upload it.
The idea of like uploading content in 2007 and just it taking forever because upload speeds were so low.
Right.
And you were a trendsetter. 15, many years before COVID, you were working remotely. That's great.
Yeah, I found a way to make it work. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, continue. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to touch on the logo thing. It's so funny because people see that Machinima logo now and they react in one or two ways. It's like, the good old days, or fuck that company, man.
Right.
And I get it. And it's like, to some people, it's like the mark of the beast, unlike Screw Attack, which is like a stamp of quality. Because I am as excited to be here as maybe you are to have me on, because I've known about Screw Attack for a long time, and I remember back in the around the time where I started working for Machinima, I was aware of Screw Attack. I think it was after your Game Trailers merger, you guys really took off, and I was very aware of your company. I didn't watch everything you were putting out, but I saw some of this stuff, and it was really good. And in preparation for this, I went back and watched some of your stuff, and it's good stuff. It's
no, it's not. It's horrible. It's all horrible.
No, it really
He's just
is.
being nice. Thank you, John. That's very nice of you.
It's got that kind of amateur video quality to it, where it's it might have even been shot on video cassette, I'm guessing.
It was
in some cases.
Yep,
yeah,
it was.
But the jokes were funny. It was well written and it was well shot. I could tell your camera operators, they probably had some film experience or studied film or something.
No,
it was good stuff.
No.
I thought.
no. Well, I appreciate that kindly, and we could. I don't know. I feel like you and I could probably talk for a few hours just about that age of the internet for a long time. But it's funny because I remember I wanted you to come to. We had an event called SGC, Screw Attack Gaming Convention, and I was like, I want to get Digital Fear there so bad. Oh my god! Because I watched your stuff from afar, and I was like, oh, it's so much fun, it's so good, I love it, it's perfect. And I think that's the thing is, Arby and the Chief was so different at the time, and still, by the way, different today. You still don't see any real content like Arby and the Chief, but it really, if I could draw a parallel between Screw Attack and Arby and the Chief, they definitely encapsulated gaming culture at the time. I think they both did that very well, and that's what allowed the gaming audience to kind of relate to what we were each doing, which was really
and making fun of gaming culture and the industry as well, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And that was we always wanted to be the exact opposite of what IGN was. That was literally our mantra. IGN was suits and ties and corporate and bullshit, and we wanted to be the exact opposite, backwards hats and whatever, and just friends hanging out and just making fun of all the idiocy and stuff. But that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that,
because in environments like IGN, you got staff who don't necessarily know what they're talking about all the time, but I could tell with you guys and Screw Attack, you guys knew your stuff. It's very obvious that you guys were actually gamers who played everything, and you knew the ins and outs of the companies and the hardware and the games.
There was a time. Yes, there was a time where I was identified as a gamer for sure. It's funny. Fresh Kong actually brought this up. We actually did an IRL series where we took on different brands in the gaming space. We did Screw Attack. Do you remember Dorkly? Do you remember the brand Dorkly? So Dorkly was a pretty big brand for a while. And we took on Machinima as well, where we would more or less go to where they were located, rent out a Dave and Buster's in their private space, and then just do a video game. It was totally free to go to. There was no business model. It was just something we just wanted to do. It cost us $5,000 every time we wanted to do it, but it was just really fun. It was one of those things. But that's funny. I actually didn't even remember Screw Attack versus Machinima. So thanks for bringing that up. That's awesome. So you get approached by Machinima. They're like, hey, you're kicking so much ass. We got to put you on salary. So they put you on salary. Are you at that point? Are you employed? Are you freelance? Like, what does that relationship look like? And then, like, is your entire role built around just creating the series, Arby and the Chief?
I'm not sure if I was an employee. I don't think so. I think I was considered a contractor or whatever. Um, uh, but yeah, I went on that, and I didn't really have much interaction with him. I had like one producer contact who I would like email, and I would send him my videos, and like if I needed like voice actors, I would send him a script, and then he would like wrangle cast over at the studio, and then get everything recorded, send the voice work back to me, and I would throw it into my editing timeline and give him exports when I was done. And for the most part, they just left me alone. You know,
Yeah,
they just trusted me to do my thing.
Probably a really positive thing, because from what I hear, some of these companies who purchased other companies, they were a lot of times really forced them to do things or made them fire people and hire other people or whatever it may be.
Yeah, well, things got really fucky towards the end of Machinima's lifespan, where they started, you know, making these big corporate partnerships and mergers. And I mean, in my opinion, I think that sort of thing is the death knell for like this kind of content creation, you know, because as soon as you make it to the upper corporate levels, all of a sudden you got to have a polished image and catalog, you know. And there was a point in Machinima's lifespan when they wanted to really clean up their act, and then all of a sudden a show like mine where there's so much foul language is like not so cool anymore. And they gave me like a list of words, like it was around season 7, I think.
No.
They gave me a list of words not to say.
Oh.
What words were they?
Oh, I mean, none of them I would want to repeat on this show.
You just
I want to know that list. Say all of them right now.
Yeah, I want to know.
look dead in the camera. No.
No. Yeah, and say
Right.
them.
You can imagine the C word, the F word, whatever. Go A, B, C, D, E word.
Right.
The
But-
really spicy ones, yeah. And if I were to have them in my episodes, I would have to bleep them out and then like put a little censor bar over the words. And that annoyed me because more so for the fans, because I knew that they would see that and be like, what the hell is this? Why are you like censoring yourself now? And but I was like talking to a brick wall, like the person that they hired to like, you know, kind of tame the content down was just like, nope, like they don't care. Like as soon as you say the word, that's like a red flag. Like, no, you can't do that. No, it's like, no, it's funny because in context, because this and this. It's like, no, we don't care. Like,
Yeah.
don't say it.
And as soon
That
as when you
bothered
have
me.
a community built on freedom like that of expression and speech and stuff, as soon as they think you're a sellout like that, it's that. You know what I mean?
Right. So
Right, yeah.
they effectively brought in their own standards and practices person to more or less be a censor for you. And
The beginning.
Eventually, yeah, but that was much later. So I didn't mean to jump too far ahead.
well, we'll get there.
That's my
Oh,
fault. I apologize.
Oh, we'll get there. Well, so let's take a step back then. Let's talk about the process of the show, right? Because the first 3 seasons or so, right? They're kind of like, it's comedic, it's fun. Did you plan out seasons? Was that the idea? I'm going to go, you know, however many episodes in season 1. I'm going to do how many episodes in season 2. Did you plan them out, or was it more just kind of like you know, go by the seat of your pants type of thing?
With the early seasons, I would do like 6 episodes a season because I was a big fan of British television and the way that they do their series, as they call them, instead of seasons. They would do 6 episodes per series, and so like I adopted the same kind of thing. And then around season 5, I started making the episodes serialized and like building up to a big finale. And then at that point, it was like minimum 10, 12 episodes, something like that. And then like season 6 had a bit more, and season 7 was bigger, and then season 8 was bigger. And yeah, like around the second half of the show's production, I was really focused on like outlining an entire season. Like at the very beginning of a season, I would be thinking about what the very end is, and then kind of working my way backwards to a degree. and then combing my way forwards and backwards and figuring out like, oh, I need a scene here, I need a scene here, I can take that scene out, don't need that, and then just really workshopping it intensely. Yeah.
I think that's
Cool.
one of the things about when you look at content creation back then, you saw like you developed as a creator, right? You said you started when you were 19, right? And you probably had an okay idea what you're doing, but you learned as you went. So the audience had an opportunity to see you grow and your product grow as you went along. And that ultimately forges a bond with them, and they get to know you, and they're like, well, I remember when you just started and it was, you know, Master Chief Plays Halo. Now we're on season 4. Let's go. And everyone gets super excited about it. But nowadays you feel like things have to be so polished immediately. And I feel like we've almost kind of lost that growth period with creators, and allowing them the opportunity to mess up and make silly mistakes and have poor production, you know?
I think the creators that are making stuff right now, it's not about the quality. I don't even feel like a lot of them care for their works like you clearly cared about the way the story was going to be seen, and to go back and forth and like really try to fine tune the story to get to the finish. It's like I don't feel like that even exists anymore. I mean, people don't. I watch stuff that comes out nowadays and it's trash. It's
I think
kind of sad.
Some of the things that are considered among content creators now, first and foremost, is like volume of content, and then such content that will fit the algorithm. And everything else is secondary, like writing quality.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, you mentioned kind of the quantity of content that's coming on, the algorithm attached to it, right? Just to kind of once again put this in perspective for a lot of people, right? One of Screw Attack's early differentiators is that we did something every day. That was kind of our tagline, something original every day, right? And now you are inundated with content constantly on your phone, staring at you, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. It's constant content. And it's a never flow of just junk food to your face. Whereas at this time, 2007, 2008, 2009, sometimes major websites didn't update for, maybe once a day, maybe once every other day. When from a content perspective, I remember looking at ESPN and they went like 2 days before updating with their latest headlines of news. And now it's like they got to be updating every 20 minutes. So it was definitely a different time. Definitely, it was not only were creators learning to make content, but the internet was kind of learning as well as to what it would eventually be. But yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I just have a slight question. So when you guys were talking about quantity of content, does that mean like you're saying posting every day, or like that quantity, or how much you've already, like a back catalog of, do they want both, or does the back catalog not matter? Or
well, when I mentioned that, I was talking about like content creators in a general sense, not just Machinima. Like if you're just on YouTube, there's that feeling that you need to have something out every day, and it needs to be X length so the algorithm will accept it. But I mean, Machinima, certainly they wanted content, I think, every day, just not for me. Like I would put out something once a week because I needed the time to like write everything and put it together in editing, and it was actually really strenuous. Like, I mean, I would upload a video, and then that day I could be like, okay, I can just breathe today, and then the next day it's like, okay, I got to start writing, and I got to have a draft done by the end of this day. It can be shit, but I have to have something. And then as the days go on, like that week goes away fast, and then you're just like, oh my God, this script isn't done yet. Like I got to start shooting this thing. And like, by the last couple editing days, I'm kind of fried, and it's like a desperate rush to get it out to Machinima in time. And I would miss deadlines more often than I care to admit. And I would ask Machinima for like more time, and I would be embarrassed because I already did that. And yeah, it was hard. It was a hard schedule.
I'm
How
sure
did they handle the deadlines? Did they push back, or like, okay, it's fine?
There was a little pushback. They're like, "Come on, dude."
Right,
Just
that's-
like,
yeah.
I know. Sorry.
Did the type of equipment back then, since I'm sure it was, older equipment, was it harder to make content with that stuff? Like to make cuts and stuff? Because I can imagine it would be horrible.
I don't remember. I mean, you would
Back
think,
then.
yeah, but I don't remember it being a huge issue. I mean, certainly the software would crash, and like, because I was editing on, I think, Pinnacle Studio, and I think that was the first thing I edited on, and I was dealing with like 144p, 240p footage, whatever it'd be called now, like super low res,
Wow.
RCA connections through like a USB capture device. And yeah, I would get some crashes, but I don't remember it being a huge hurdle. Like I found ways around it. I would get through it eventually.
Man, like everything you said about, reaching deadlines or having this timeline and then just, it all just be like that perfectly was a summary of what Screw Attack was. Like it was like, I think everybody went through it at that time. Like I said, we're all just kind of figuring it out. It was, oh man, I love it. I love the way you described that. That was awesome. So
Yeah, it's tough, man.
So you kind of went through the process. One thing that has changed a lot over the years is obviously copyright. And there's a lot of like, you have curb music and stuff in Arby and the Chief, and that's that was kind of a meme. We kind of helped push that meme in really with the Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
I like to think so, yeah.
Right. So, but now you can't have any of that stuff in your show, right? So, is your content able to be monetized? Like, are the old episodes able to be monetized now? Like, how does that work out?
I deliberately don't monetize any of it. I turn it off, just because I don't want anyone giving me crap. Because there's a whole thing where Machinima eventually went down one day, to everyone's surprise, and they privatized their whole catalog. And everyone was like, what the hell, man? Like, not only the fans, but the creators. It's like, where'd all my videos go, right? Were they saved? Like so some people got really screwed over. I was lucky because, like, I was an idiot and didn't invest in, like, hard drives and storage space, and I barely backed up any of my stuff. But my fans did. And they helped me build my archive back up from nothing. And I was like,
shout out to the
shit,
fans.
If it wasn't for them,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Dude, the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like literally the exact same thing. Like, oh yeah, well that video's done, it's gone. Several years ago, I had a fan send me the entire, like, pretty much they had downloaded all the videos and sent me a hard drive with a ton of Screw Attack stuff that I thought was lost forever. And it's just sitting on a hard drive now because they were nice enough to, like, do the exact same thing. They downloaded the videos, and at the time I'm like, oh, fuckers downloading the videos, whatever. But now it's like, oh, amazing, thank you so much. So, wow.
Right.
So-
Yeah, because I thought, like, oh, it's safe on Machinima. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
Then
and it's forever.
it all went away.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You sure think this is a big company? Of course they're gonna keep it safe.
Right.
Well, so let's talk about that. So Machinima goes under. They are you have no access to any of your videos, right? And no creator does that was signed to Machinima. Machinima eventually, just for y'all's reference, one day they're like, Machinima's closed, and then they, as was pointed out, they private all the videos. Everything is gone. If you were to go to the Machinima website right now,
Didn't they not pay a bunch of people too? If I remember back then, like, a bunch of creators didn't get paid because
I
they
don't
had
know
to
for
pay other
sure, but
people.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and that happened with Defy as well, because the money that was in that payment account that went from YouTube to them to the creators, it went to somebody they owed money to first or some shit.
No, I know it happened to me. I mean, I knew they owed me at least like $3,500, and I sent them a whole, like, color-coded spreadsheet of, like, these are the invoices that I sent that I can't find payment for, and they couldn't. They were just like, oh yeah, we don't have the paperwork, sorry. And it's like, what? Okay, so I guess I'm not
what are you
getting the
supposed to
money?
do?
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
Sue them? They don't exist.
Yeah.
Like.
So if you were to go to Machinima right now, they obviously tried to rebrand before they went down. But this is a channel that has over 11 million subscribers right now, and nothing is on it. If you were to go, like, they don't even have a video tab. Have you ever seen a channel that doesn't have a video tab on it? Right?
That's true.
Which is crazy. So everything has been privated on this. So all the creators are just totally out of luck, right?
What does it say there in the description?
It says Machinima is the most notorious purveyor of and cultivator of fandom and gaming culture. I
love the word notorious there.
They're not wrong. Oh, check this out. Here it is.
There are playlists, but do they have any videos in them?
Well,
No, he clicked on it.
yeah, just one.
So what's the point in even having this? Just wait until somebody wants to buy it or something?
Well, let's see what this says.
Question.
Well, so I actually have information on that, Travis, which is interesting. It says this channel features current popular content such as BFS, Super Best Friends Play, Christopher Walking Through, which is these are really good series, as long as classics like Game Poop, Arby and the Chief, Sanity Not Included, and more. So
this hasn't been updated in a long time. Okay.
No, Machinima went under, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But you guys will never guess who actually owns it. Do you guys know who owns Machinima right now?
It's still full screen.
Well, full screen doesn't exist anymore. So, and they were acquired. Actually, Rooster Teeth has the rights to Machinima.
Yeah, because the parent company WB is Warner Brothers. Yeah.
Warner Brothers Discovery owns Machinima, and if you were to search for Machinima, I am actually kind of floored. The timing on this is crazy, and I'm just going to tell you this, John, right now. I want to watch this video with you. I want to watch this video with you and do a reaction with this video. The greatest business failure in YouTube history. It's all about Machinima. It was released 22 hours ago.
Can I ask, when did they purchase Machinima? Does anybody know?
I bet you can find it if you Google it, Travis.
I only have a question.
Mid 2010s, I think.
See, that's funny. I only asked that because I used to watch a show called SourceFed, and they were purchased by not Defy, the same company who purchased Machinima. You just said it a minute ago, right. And I think they learned not to change the tag of the name of the if they were to try and change Machinima into something else, rebrand it, and use those 11 million subscribers. Because they tried that with SourceFed, and there was a huge backlash. All the older hosts came out and said, we hate this. All the fans came out and unsubbed, so they lost all the subscribers they had anyway. So when they tried to take the 2 million subscriber base that SourceFed had and change it and repurpose it for some other show, it was like, I forget what it was called, something That News or something. It blew up in their face. So I imagine that's where they learned that lesson, not to change the name of the 11 million subscribers there.
No.
Right.
John, you seem like we were talking about Machinima, and you said you were talking about, like, what's the point? Why do they have this? And does it who owns it? And you said, yeah, like, are you? There's a video. I don't know if you know who Moist Critical is. Are you familiar with them? Yeah.
Yeah, so, I was on his podcast. Yeah.
Awesome. So Charlie a few months ago made this video about how he wanted to buy Machinima. Did you see this?
I did. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen, but I admire his ambition.
So I'll need to talk to you privately about that. I can't talk to you on because I do have some information, but I can't talk about it publicly. But what were your thoughts when you saw that? You guys, just for your reference, Charlie Most Critical was like, I want to buy Machinima. I want to give all the content back to the creators. That was like his big thing, was nobody has access to their old stuff. I want to give people access to their old stuff. That's pretty much it. What was your thoughts on that, John?
I think it's a good thing. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people I know who got, like, creators who got screwed over, and they weren't as lucky as me in getting all their content back. And I said, yeah, like, because I heard about it, I'm like, I think that's cool, giving everybody their videos back and just making the videos public and let everyone see them again. But I just, that was my thoughts on it.
Did you yeah, like I'm telling you, the Machinima wormhole is a fascinating one, and
It's really weird. Yeah.
yeah, and just
Yeah,
how
that-
one
that
day they're
company
like, we're done.
that company I mentioned was Discovery, so it is the same parent company.
Yes, Discovery, Time Warner. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to the show real quick. We can talk about Machinima all day long, but with Arby and the Chief, you saw a ton of success. Were you then? Did you want to do spinoffs? Were you approached about them? I mean, because you had spinoffs. I mean, obviously, much later, you had a movie that you did. Like, walk me through all that process.
Okay, so when I'd made Master Chief Sucks at Halo 1 and 2 on my own, and then I got hired by Machinima, and then I said, well, I'm working for Machinima now, and people know me for Master Chief Sucks at Halo 1 and 2, so I'll make a third one, and that'll coincide with the release of Halo 3. And then, so I made that, and then that went on Machinima's channel. That was my first upload to them. And then I decided they and I both wanted to make a series out of this. And I thought, okay, if this is gonna be long term, then I should bring in another character as like a foil to Chief, where like one is the kind of more rationally minded one, who's like articulate, and one's like the leet speak, idiot. Mm-hmm. And then it would be like a comedy duo. That really, like, I was excited about that. And so I said, I'll make a show called Arby and the Chief. And I developed that and put out the pilot episode. And that was a big success. So much so that even Bungie posted it on their own website at the time, nodding to my show, despite the language, which I don't think would happen today in a million years. Like
no way,
Bungie's company
gone
like that associating itself with video with that kind of language in it. Like no fucking way.
Yeah, Bungie, especially nowadays, is very much going along the narrative line. I'll just put it that way.
The irony here, I love, by the way, this is an upload on your channel, the blurred Machinima in the bottom right left corner.
I blurred all that shit out. Yeah,
I love it.
All the re-uploads. Yeah, it's gone.
Love it, man. I love it. Oh, that's awesome.
Which, and these early episodes, copyright music out the ass, like Gears of War, Batman Begins, like music from all these different movies and games. I just didn't give a shit. And I'm better about that now because, like, as many people say, back then the internet was like a wild west, right? Mm-hmm. And but I've learned now, like, there was a period where, like, I would buy licenses for tracks to use, and then eventually I just got onto making my own music, because I got tired of paying the licensing fees because it was too expensive. Nice. And so that was another opportunity for me to like branch out to a new field and develop my skill in that area. So that's what's cool about what I've done, is that I'm proficient in a lot of different areas, like video editing and music and screenwriting. And yeah, it's cool.
And to go back and like you look at the machinima of this, so at this point did they give you free access to the camera in the game, or did you work off a hacked version of the game? Because I know that at a certain point, let's see, I think was it Halo 3 that they gave you like a creator mode where you could kind of create these scenarios and create the machinima style.
Yeah. So with Halo 3 was the debut of like Forge mode and Theater mode. And Theater mode let you replay any gameplay session with a free roaming camera. And I wasn't working with any kind of developer build or hacked build or anything like that. This is just done with the vanilla game, And
that's cool.
And it was really cool when that came around. Yeah, because I'm just like, I get a cinematic camera to use with Halo 3. Like, I'm totally taking advantage of this, right? Because I always wanted to make like a cinematic show, like beyond just like, because a lot of content creation is just like, there's a lot of podcasts and stuff, which is fine.
And let's be honest though, most of that content, the content creation nowadays is talking about other content. Like that's what most people do. They don't make their own shit. Like even me, I don't make my own stuff. Granted, I'm a musician and I'm a gamer, but for most of my podcasting life is I'm talking about someone else's stuff, something else that's happening, where you're creating the music, you're creating the cinematics of the characters, you're creating the storyline. Like you're a package. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I don't mean to sound disparaging towards just like that kind of content where it's talking about other people's content. Well, I follow plenty of people that do the same thing, and I like that sort of stuff. Depending on who it is. But
looking at you, Flood.
I had always wished more people in general would make like shows, like write a thing, and shoot it like a movie and cut it together. And that I wanted to do that. It's not like I was doing it just because I was working for Machinima. Like I wanted to do this. It was fun. And when Halo 3 came out, it's like, oh, I can actually do this pretty easy now, because I can just do whatever I want with the camera. And the camera is actually really sophisticated in Halo 3, like because it had like a smoothing effect applied to it. It wasn't janky, like moving a camera around with WASD controls on a keyboard, like in a PC game. It was like smooth. And like when you would press in the right
it was on rails
stick,
or something.
Yeah, you could move the control stick as if like the camera was actually on like a physical dolly, like in a real live action production. And then you press the right stick in, and you can switch lenses from like 35 mil to like 75 millimeter and out. Like you could do really, it would look like a movie. Yeah.
Well, so you say this as like, well, it was actually really easy. Well, let me tell you something. we tried to do a Machinima series at Screw Attack, and we went about
keyword there, tried.
We we lasted about an hour, and we were like, this is way too difficult, way too hard, and like we're like, nope. We're like, we got to do some Machinima something, and it was a train wreck.
Can we watch that somewhere? Did you ever release that?
No, I think the idea was just play with the cameras in it and see what you can,
Do you have any of that footage?
I mean, even if you guys attempting to try to do it would be hilarious to watch.
Oh,
it's
man.
very time consuming.
I bet.
But I really enjoyed the process. Like I was a movie freak. Like I loved cinema, and I would like study my favorite movies and watch them over and over, like trying to boil it down to a science. Like, what is it exactly I love about this movie or this other movie? Like,
did you do any like film studies in high school? In college or anything?
Not in high school. I eventually went to film school, and I took a full course, 4 years, and I got a Bachelor of Arts in Motion Picture Production. But before I even went to film school, I had already done like 5 seasons of Arby and the Chief. So like I had taught myself a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just studying movies and experimenting, and fucking up and learning from my mistakes.
That's how it's done right there.
Feedback on YouTube is a big part of that. As mean as they got sometimes.
Right.
It's just like, okay, I fucked up there. Like, I can see how I can improve. Like, I'll do better next time.
Well, if a content creator can look at the comments and become stronger by it, they're unstoppable. But there's a lot of people out there that see comments and hate, and that's what they look at. Mr. Beast, or not Mr. Beast. What's the other guy? The smiley face dude, Dream, right?
Oh, right.
Like, look at him. Look at he's now believes he's ugly. I don't know if it's an act or not, but he's wearing. At this point. I mean,
yeah. Didn't he do a face reveal and then revoke it or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, talking about like specifically talking about the hate comments, even if it is an act, like that's kind of a bitch move. If it's an act, it's a bitch move. If it's not an act, it's a bitch move. You're letting the comments win. You're giving them power by even acknowledging them. Like that's a big L in my book.
So, guys, I have breaking news to you. I actually do have
breaking
footage,
news.
Do have footage of us with this Machinima.
No way.
Trying this. Let's check this out. Oh, sorry. That was the process. Sorry, there you go. That's all I got.
I was actually hoping it was real. I was like,
no, it wasn't real. Well, it's so. I got a few things there. So John, you actually seem like you're pretty in tune with the internet culture and creation today. Is that? I mean, if you're talking about Dream and you know about Dream, you have a pretty good finger on the pulse.
Yes, I soaked all of that as much as I could up like throughout high school, and still like I try and stay on top of everything. Yeah, because it fascinates me.
Yes. Yeah. And Adam, you were talking about looking at comments and such. This is really kind of stupid, but if you think about it, but at Screw Attack, we actually had a rule where you couldn't look at the if you were new to the channel, if you were a new employee, I wouldn't allow you to look at comments for the first 2 weeks because people will be like, "Who's this idiot? Who's this chick? This guy's an asshole," whatever, and it was like, I don't want you to get broken.
Yeah. And then there's content creators. This bugs me, man, when people do this, where they'll read chat and act as if something chat said is their own idea and like acknowledge it. Like I read chat, but if I see something funny, I say the person's name. This person said something funny, right. or this person said something really astute. Like check out what Extra Zero said. I just saw his name, but shout out to Extra Zero because he's a G. But you know what I mean? Like that bugs me. Because I've had many guests throughout my life as a podcaster. I used to interview a lot, and I could tell when people were like not listening to me, and they were reading chat, and then they would say something, and I'm like, I just read that in chat. Like that's not even your original idea. Like what? Like get out of chat and talk to me. I want to hear your opinions. Shut up with the chat. Now chat's right, but if you're gonna do that, acknowledge that it was chat. Don't try to bullshit me. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so
comments can really mess with people, man. Like I've had a few throughout my time that really bummed me out, like just ruined my day. But I get past it,
Somebody in the Castlevania stream on Rumble, I went and looked, said that they hated me and that I sucked, and they went and unsubscribed because I was terrible at Castlevania, and I responded back with ew.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was like, all right, cool, man.
The fact that you responded makes you a child in that situation.
I loved it. I thought it was great. Ew.
That's awesome.
The unsubscribe
Stop,
thing
please.
is one of the few pieces of ammunition that they have to fire at you. Unsubscribed.
Guaranteed they didn't unsubscribe.
Probably not.
Yeah.
If they were even subscribed to begin with, like
no, they're sitting back like, ha, I made her respond to me. I win.
Do they know? I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good laugh. I was like, okay, cool.
So let's go back to Arby and the Chief a little more, right? So you saw you at this point you're seeing success, right? You have a really popular series. This is something that goes. What was it? 8 seasons before Machinima ended? Did you do all 8 seasons before, or
7 seasons under Machinima? The 8th season was under my channel, independent.
Did you have any issues like when you signed a contract? Did Machinima technically own the rights to Arby and the Chief? How did that work out? I don't know. Walk me through that. How does that? If you're creating content, I don't know how that worked out.
At the time, yeah, that was in the contract. They own the episodes of the show. But I mean, even then, it was like I didn't really understand it because it's like Microsoft and Bungie trademarks, and it's their game. But like, it's Machinima owns the show, but how much of that exactly do they own? And like, but I'm
your
the
voice
creator of the show, like almost 100%. So, like, I don't know. It felt like kind of a mess. But yeah, in the contract, it was like Machinima owns the show, and it's like okay, so it was frustrating when Machinima went under, because then all of a sudden what was particularly infuriating about it was like gradual, like single episodes was all of a sudden go missing or like go privatized. And towards the end of Arby and the Chief's run, I was making serialized seasons. So it's like people need to see this episode to understand the next one. Like, where are they? And I was emailing Machinima at the time saying, what's going on? Can we get this episode back up? What's the problem? And I wasn't like getting anything back. And then one day everything went. And it's like, holy shit. And so for months, I was trying to reach out to them via email saying, what the hell is going on? Like, can I upload the videos to my channel? Like, because right now they can't be seen by anybody. I don't give a fuck about ad revenue. Like, I just want the show to be seen because, like, I spent years on this. Like, I didn't sign a contract and produce this show thinking that eventually it was all just going to disappear. Like, why would I dedicate all my time to that? That's stupid.
Right.
So Like, and at the time, other users on YouTube, like randos, were uploading my show, and in some cases, probably earning ad revenue off of it. And I'm here worrying about uploading it to my channel because I don't want to step on anybody's toes, contractually speaking. So I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. So I'm emailing Machinima going, hey, what's going on? Like, can you tell me what I need to do to like put this on my channel? They weren't getting back to me. So eventually a lawyer reached out to me, an IP lawyer, and gave me kind of a quasi consultation over email. And then I told Machinima that I was in contact with a lawyer, and surprise, all of a sudden they got back to me saying, hey, let's sort this out. It's like, okay, now you're on board, right? And so eventually I got a phone call with their legal department, and one of the guys in the legal department was like an OG at Machinima who like started from the bottom, worked his way up all the way to legal, and he was like the one guy who recognized me. Like everybody there was like new staff. They didn't know who I was. So I guess they were getting my emails and be like, who the hell is this guy? Delete, you know? So I'm talking with this guy and another guy. They were both in legal over the phone. And I'm like, can I upload the show to my channel? And they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I'm like, is that easy? So like, why couldn't you have told me this months ago? What?
Right.
This is like pulling teeth, you know? And it's like, now you're telling me it's no big deal. Yeah, go ahead. And I mean, I was mad, but I was like, I got what I wanted. So I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, can I get rid of the logo on the videos? And he was like, yeah, if you want to get rid of them, sure. I'm like, yeah, I want to get rid of them. They're going.
The guy just said like, no. He was like, yeah, whatever, dude, whatever, kid. You know, just why are we in this meeting? You're just wasting all of our time.
Who are you again?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you ever find out why they just started taking them down?
No, that's a big mystery still. There's a lot of things I don't know about that. I mean, I knew that like at some point, like around the full screen acquisition, like at some point Rooster Teeth, I understood, had the whole Machinima library was under their control. And I've worked with Rooster Teeth in the past on a couple of shorts, so I knew the team. And I sent an email to like Matt Hullum, and I was like, what's going on? Like, do you guys have the Machinima content? This is before I got permission from Machinima to upload everything. And I said, do you guys have the whole catalog? What's going on over there? Like, I'm emailing Machinima. They're not getting back to me. Can you like maybe help me out here? And he's like, I'll look into it. And then I never heard back from him.
Ghosted.
And
yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't have anything against Matt or any of the team, like the Rooster Teeth guys. I mean, Rooster Teeth's kind of fallen from grace a little bit in everyone's eyes. But I mean, the core team, I worked with them and they were nothing but nice to me. So I have nothing but good things to say about working with them. It's just unfortunate that they didn't get back to me. But whatever, I have the show on my channel now. So, and regarding the contracts, like Machinima owns the show, I'm just like, can you point to Machinima? Where is it? You know, like it's gone now. So I don't really care. But to play it as safe as I can while still having the show on my channel, I just don't monetize anything. I just want the show to be seen. That's all.
Yeah, it would be funny to me if somebody claimed that they are Machinima or acting as Machinima and tried to sue you for something like that. Because then all those people that they screwed and didn't send all that money to that they were supposed to, well, there he is. That's the guy with your money.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw me shaking my head while you were and just nodding along with everything that you were saying, because those sentences that you were saying could have came right out of my mouth as far as with Screw Attack, because I kind
of saw this coming too, to be honest. I thought you might have a similar story. Yeah.
Very similar, where Screw Attack was this brand, pretty prominent at the time. We actually made most of our money off YouTube, and but after Screw Attack was acquired, after 3 years, I left the company, and then they didn't really know what to do with it. And I left, and then they rebranded it, and they rebranded it to Death Battle. And in doing so, they privated all the videos to where you really can't find any Screw Attack videos on YouTube that are official. They're all uploaded by fans and such. And I've been trying to buy Screw Attack back for the better part of 2 years now. And it is the Warner Brothers Discovery merger and such has been just a mess. And they're like, well, we're not ready to sell things and blah, blah, blah. But I've been trying to buy it back for 2 years with not with the intention of relaunching the brand, simply with the intention of getting the content back out there, because that's content. I think that's like a portion of the internet that helped shape gaming culture at the time. And I don't want it just to be lost, in the sands of the internet time,
Sure.
And that's like super important to me. And I know there's people out there that would love to see it. And my whole vision if I was to reacquire it, would be to release it almost as a time capsule, as a, like literally release a new piece of content every day in the order that it was released back in the day. And so where in 2024, you're watching something that was released in 2006 as it was brand new in wonderful 144p or whatever it was, I think that'd be wonderful. But it's amazing to hear you talk about that, because I've had many of those conversations, many of those frustrations, and I feel like we're kind of kindred spirits here. And then the way you're talking about it, for sure. So
For sure, yeah.
Actually,
I got lucky.
Kind of have a theory about that they can't find the original sale contract of the company, and they can't prove that they even own it anymore. But that's just my theory.
right.
I don't know, yeah.
Well, and I think that's the thing, is when you're dealing with something that is, with Machinima is low hanging fruit when it comes to something like Warner Brothers Discovery, right? Going in and acquiring a company like that, it'd still be a few $1 million to acquire a company like that and a brand that has 11 million subscribers on YouTube, right? Now the channel may be dead and it hasn't been used, but there's still some value there somewhere. And when you're dealing with a company that makes $1 billion transactions, a $1 million transaction doesn't even move the needle for a company like that.
Where's that even paperwork even kept? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Who knows?
Yeah, there's a few theories. I mean, when I was on Moist Critical's podcast, they had a few of their own. One of them was like, Warner bought Machinima and all these other companies because they were seen as competitors, and then they bought them to liquidate them. And yeah, not only do they get that money, but then their competitors are gone. I don't know. That's a theory. I don't know.
I could see that.
Big mystery.
Yeah, I could, for sure. I could absolutely see that. So you went through 7 seasons, saw success. The entire 7 seasons. Did you change your contract at all? Were you pretty much just a salaried employee or a freelancer, or did you actually see incentives on the back end? Did that change after a while? Did you go back to it and be like, I should be making money because I'm doing so well?
There were a couple of contract variations. I can't remember exactly what the changes were, but I did get a raise or two throughout the years. But I did 3 seasons. Well, I did 7 seasons under Machinima altogether, but I did 3 initially, and I got burnt out. This is funny. So I then asked Machinima for some time off because I was burned out. And I needed time for like some new ideas for a new season. But Machinima wanted to keep the train moving. And so they're like, we're going to produce the show if you're not going to do it. And I said, okay. And so I took some time to like write and brainstorm. And in the meantime, they were handling the script writing process of Arby and the Chief. They found the figures. They got a camera operator. Everything was in-house. They went out in the streets of LA and shot it. And it was terrible. And the fans thought it was terrible. And seeing the first episode come out and the reaction to it, I was like, oh my God, I had this sinking feeling in my stomach. Like, oh my God, what did I do? Like,
and did the fans know that it wasn't actually you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because in the credits,
that'd be horrible. They all thought it was you. It's like, not me.
No, I think most of them understood what was going on, but I was disappointed nonetheless because it was like I was
still your baby,
striking a match and setting fire to my own show. All I wanted was a break. Mm-hmm. That's what I got.
That reminds me of in WWF when this is such a stupid reference. But when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash went to WCW, but WWF still retained the character rights to Diesel and Razor Ramon, and then the next week they brought out a fake Diesel and fake Razor Ramon that looked nothing like them. And they're like, here they are. It's Diesel and Razor Ramon. Oh my god.
It was basically that. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
I remember getting because my producer contact at the time, he just made himself the new screenwriter. Basically, he's like, I'll just do the scripts because like he didn't know anybody else in house who could do it. So he's like, I'll just do it. And it's like, have you written anything before? Like I didn't know, but like he gave me the first draft that he wrote for like the pilot of Arby and the Chief in LA. That was the spin-off series that they did. Yeah. And I looked at the script for it. It's like, and they were like, can you give me some feedback on this? And I looked
the
at
title shit. How about that?
Well, the whole thing was awful. Yeah. Like to the point where it's like, where do I even start critiquing this? Like, and how do I not sound like an asshole? You know, because like, it's not like I'm Scorsese or anything. I'm just like dude in his bedroom in Canada, like, you know, doing the best I can. It's like, what authority do I really have to tell someone else about screenwriting? Because I hadn't even gone to like film school or anything at that point. But like it was so bad, but I said yeah anyway because I didn't know what to offer in terms of criticism, and I just wanted the time off. Like I was just done with the show at that point, just temporarily at least. I was like, okay, whatever. And then this season that you're about to catch a glimpse of came out, and it was fucking awful.
Oh my gosh, well,
it's just everything about it was wrong. The font was wrong. The voices weren't right because I don't think they used like the OG Windows XP text-to-speech engine. They used like Speakonia or some kind of spin-off like that. And
that's the type of stuff that only you would know, right?
Well, right. Well, the fans will know. If you get used to watching and hearing something, you're gonna know immediately when it's changed.
Right. Well, they might not be able to tell what speech engines specifically are being used, but they can tell by ear, like this isn't right. Something is off here. Mm-hmm. And in more ways than one. Like the way it's shot, I wouldn't shoot it like this. Like right here, they're both looking to the left, but they're frame left. Like I would put them frame right in terms of blocking, but that's just my nerdy director side coming out.
What a bunch of idiots! Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, it's like really fascinating to hear you talk about that. It's kind of like the dark period of Arby and the Chief, you know?
Yeah.
The unsuccessful spinoff that where the founder was pushed to the side and did. Well, we got to keep the train rolling, man. You know. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And so I think there was a permanent decline in viewership after that, and it was partly their fault. It was partly my fault.
No, it's their fault. Yeah. You wanted a break. I don't think that's your fault for wanting a break.
But I gave him the okay, though, you know? So, like...
And if you said no... Hold on. If you had said no, I'm not okay with it, and I'm going to go take my break now. I'm not okay with this. You know what they would have done, right? They would have made this same fucking video.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah. That's entirely possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they had no choice. They don't have to listen to me, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Do you still have all like the action figures that you used?
Oh yeah, I still make the show.
Yeah.
On my channel.
Well, I just wanted to make sure like you still have like the old ones, like the original stuff. You never like threw anything out.
No, they've been replaced, and they weren't cheap to replace either. They're very fucking hard to find now. I'm lucky I have the ones that I have. But the first set.
Do you have them there? Can you show us?
Are
they within reach? You don't have to get up if they're not within reach.
They're not within. They're in my closet, buried in a bag. Sorry.
That's all right.
I do have them there. They are the same like figurines, like from Joyride, the same kind of series and line. So, yeah. But the first set that I had. Around season 3, the movie, season 4, I had to replace them because they were just falling apart. The arms were coming off, and
I was wondering.
Yeah.
Worn out.
So I try to be more careful with this new set that I have.
Love it.
I was pretty rough with them, to be fair.
Decapitation.
I'm just curious. I've talked openly about how, like at Screw Attack, we didn't make any money. Right? It's an early age of the internet. For a decade of Screw Attack, I made $35,000 a year, right? Like, and I kind of look at it as we walked so everybody else could sprint and make all sorts of money. Did you do okay during the Machinima days? Like, did you at least put yourself ahead a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I was doing better then than I am now. I mean, I'm doing okay now, but like back then, I was making good money, on the salary they were giving me. So
Okay.
I mean, people shit on Machinima a lot, and it's well deserved. But you know, I was getting paid quite well to do something I enjoyed doing, and that whole time spent was an opportunity for me to develop my skills as like a show runner, basically. And I learned so much about editing and writing and cinematography and all that. Like, I'm grateful for the time and the opportunity.
That's really great to hear. Really great to hear. You're still producing this show today. You brought it back, season 8.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's that been like. You had the reboot, the season 8, and then the reboot. I saw the latest video for that. Well, walk me through that.
Before that, I just want to say, like, after the burnout phase and Arby and the Chief in LA, I came back for season 4, and I was really energized at that point. Not only because I had the time off that I needed, but like also I was mad about Arby and the Chief in LA, and I wanted to like win back the support of the audience, you know. So I wanted to show like I'm back. I didn't go anywhere. I can still make this show awesome. And I worked really hard on season 4, and season 4 is really well regarded among my audience, so I'm happy about that. And then season 5 became serialized, and I started introducing like dramatic elements to it, because like I had this theater mode to work with, and like all these like action assets, like vehicles and guns and stuff. So it's like, why don't I tell a story that takes full advantage of all this stuff that I'm using anyway, and shoot it like an action movie, basically. So it's like a comedy action, like hybrid series at that point, and also a hybrid between live action and Machinima. And it was like a exploration of like playing online and the different types of people that you encounter online. It was, I had like a different big villain for each season. And I shot it like a movie, and people, I mean, there's still some people at least that think it's like cringe or whatever, because it's like, dude, what are you doing? You're like, this is a comedy show about toys, and now you're trying to make it like this dramatic action series. What the fuck are you doing, dude? But I was so convinced like this was the right way to go. Like, I just felt creatively motivated. This is what I wanted to do, and I just did it. And I'm proud of the work. And season 6 was the same, but just expanded upon. And season 7 was the same, but much darker in tone. Like, it involved a suicide, like a guy killing himself.
Wow.
Yeah. And I sort of like structured a whole season around that. But I tried to, it's a comedy show, but there's certain elements that I wasn't trying to trivialize or make fun of. Like, there's actually like serious stuff in it, and I wanted to address it in a mature way, and I think I did. And then, to the Machinima's credit, even though my view figures were really dwindling, relatively speaking, around season 7, Machinima let me finish off the season the way I wanted to do it. Just, I mean, they gave me like the list of bad words that I couldn't say, and that kind of pissed me off, but whatever. I don't need foul language. I mean, it's tough. I don't need it as like a crutch, but like the audience does expect Chief to be like foul mouthed and stuff. So that was kind of weird. It's like, what can I say? What can't I say? That was frustrating to navigate, but I got through it.
You did
and now
25 episodes in season 7.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Right. Some of them were like 8 minutes. Some of them are like 30 minutes. Like the runtime really varies. But it was a very carefully structured season. Like I worked really hard on the outline for that before I even started shooting. Like I outlined it in broad strokes from beginning to end. Like I already knew what the finale was going to be before I even started shooting the first episode.
It's really amazing to hear you kind of the transformation of not just the series, but you as a creator going in and being like, I had this funny idea. And then by, the season 7, you are outlining every little tiny detail along the way. Just it goes, it's the growth of the show. It's the growth of you. It's a metaphor for the growth of the internet. and the change of
Right.
the internet, which is pretty awesome. So,
And around that same time, dramatic television was changing. Like shows like Sopranos, Breaking Bad, and Dexter, like all these like serialized dramatic shows with like hooks and cliffhangers at the end of each episode. Like that was really taken off, and I loved those shows. I love what they did, like in terms of like building up viewer hype, like anticipation. It's like, oh my god, I got to watch the next episode. Like, So
Yeah, actually,
I wanted to make a show like that. Yeah.
Serialized shows were frowned upon by all the networks back in the day because they couldn't play them out of order in syndication to make that syndication money.
Right. Makes sense. But there was also such a demand for them, right, from audiences.
Yeah, I think Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, and Babylon 5 were some of the first really, really serialized shows.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty amazing. Pretty cool. So you get through season 7. And at what point are you like, okay, let's do season 8?
Well, Machinima and I had parted ways after I finished season 7. I tried sending them emails trying to get out of them what was going on. Like, are we done now? Like, what's going on? And eventually I got an email back from a producer saying, yeah, we're dropping you. And I was like, okay, you could have been more clear with me earlier, but at least you're telling me now. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
And they still owed me money at that point, but whatever. I was like, I guess I'm just not getting that money, and I'll leave. And so yeah, then I started rebuilding, or not rebuilding, but like all this time my YouTube channel existed, but I wasn't uploading anything to it. Like for the first couple episodes, Master Chief Sucks at Halo 1 and 2, I'd uploaded those to my channel. But everything from then on, once I was a Machinima contractor, everything was going to them. So nothing was getting uploaded to my channel. And then so I was like, I'm going to start uploading to my channel now and just be independent. And then you had all these like crowdfunding payment models like Patreon and YouTube partnerships, or not partnerships, but members. Those have been a big help. So I'm on that model now. I have subscribers, and I'm incredibly grateful for all that support. And yeah, and I make the show for me and the fans.
Look at that guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Look at that clean shaven hobbit.
Hobbit.
What was that like putting yourself into the show?
I thought it was funny. I mean, it's kind of cringe looking at myself, but like, I mean, from a storytelling perspective, I liked what I wrote here. There's a whole kind of arc here that was a parody of 2001: A Space Odyssey, basically, because I was a big Kubrick fan.
This is an hour and 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Season 8, episode 1.
It's a lot.
Wow. That's crazy. And
but I have fun making it. I still wouldn't rather be doing anything else, And I've worked different kinds of jobs. I've worked film gigs, like in Vancouver. I've been on amateur, student, or professional film and television productions, like on film sets. And even having done all that, I still prefer this content creation, having complete control over what I write and what I edit, what I upload. It's all up to me. And, at the end of the day, I'm left with a product online that I can point to and be like, I made that show, right? And, yeah, it's cool. I wouldn't have it any other way.
You always go back to your first love, I suppose,
And I value now more than I ever did my independence as a content creator. I'm black-pilled against MCNs now. I think they're all bullshit.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know
That's
if
just me.
MCNs even have any traction at all, at all. So that's amazing. So where are we at now? Where is Arby and the Chief now? Like, what is the long-term vision of this thing?
Well, season 8 is done. I did a big 2-hour finale and wrapped the whole thing up in, I think, is a very emotionally satisfying and intense way. And I'm really proud of the finale. But now I'm still doing the show, but it's like one-off, self-contained, joke-focused episodes, like kind of like how I started, basically. Just like the dumbest shit that I can think of, and I'll just make an episode out of it. And yeah, the one I put out most recently is called Arby and the Chief: The Reboot. So now that season 8's over, yeah, so this is like a parody of reboot culture, or I don't know if it's a culture, but like, this trend
Sure.
of like rebooting stuff. And I play like a Hollywood executive that comes in and is trying to pitch a reboot to the toys. Like, hey, the show's been over for 5 seconds. I'd say a reboot is well overdue. And then I have all these retarded ideas. Sorry, I shouldn't say that word. But,
You can say whatever you want. It's okay.
I'm trying to clean up my language a little bit.
That's okay. You can say whatever you want.
But yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I had a lot of fun making this, and I was cracking myself up writing as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's where it starts, right? The idea of you kind of laughing at yourself, By the way, got this set literally behind you right now. Look at that.
Right. My bedroom is a hot set forever. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So do you see, I mean, you're just going one-offs right now for the foreseeable future. I guess I don't think people truly understand the impact that your show had, right?
I'm not sure if I do either, to be honest.
Well, it was a very big look. You were a very big show on the biggest outlet for gaming content, right? Arby and the Chief was it for a long time, and Machinima, obviously they pooped all over themselves in the bed, and it left a lot of creators like yourself kind of standing there with their hands up going like, what do we do, right? Did you mentioned this idea of like these executives, the kind of parody of this. Did you ever get approached for any other ideas outside? They're like, wait, hey, we've seen Arby and the Chief. What if we did this? And they were outside of Machinima or something along those lines?
I don't think so. Like, I never got any offers to direct any other kind of stuff or to write anything else. Like, Machinima they knew the thing I made and they just wanted more of that. But I was very aware of that sort of executive type of person that I would frequently make fun of in my videos, yeah, that sort of Hollywood attitude. It's all superficial and it's not about the content. It's just about making money. And
I have a follow-up. Have you ever thought about doing a Fortnite show similar to Arby and the Chief?
I did Master Chief Sucks at Fortnite. That's kind of a series on its own where Chief plays a game and sucks at it. Yeah, so it's like Fortnite, Dark Souls, and Halo Infinite. Yeah.
It's 40 minutes long. Are you? Oh my gosh! Wow, that's amazing. I love it. I love how you've taken Master Chief and you've kind of created your own character. Obviously, that it's clearly owned by Bungie and Microsoft, but it's like you've given this guy personality, a character that literally has no personality, that you're not supposed to see its face. You don't know who he is, but you've that I think that's the beauty of this series as a whole.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's literally, in the case of Master Chief, it's like a complete inversion of Chief's stoicism from the games, right? He's just like the epitome of every kind of jerk that you would encounter online. I like that about it. So it was always obvious that it was a joke, So
Right.
regardless of like these are trademark characters or like all the terrible language that I use, like it's I think the fact that it's a show about toys having come to life and swearing at each other is inherent. It's obvious on its face. Like, I'm joking around here,
I love this picture. I love this shot. Just them sitting there. He's got his hands on the it's so wonderful.
Very chill.
Yeah. It's great. They're just hanging out, watching some Fortnite.
Just buds.
Yeah. As amateur as it is, I took the filmmaking and screenwriting of it really seriously, and the editing of it. Yeah. Like I wouldn't work any more hard on if I was working on an HBO show. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I looked at it. Like, I'm going to treat this as if I'm writing for HBO or whatever. I'm not saying I'm that good. I'm just saying, like, that's what I strove for,
It's great. Were you ever approached by Bungie, Microsoft along the way? And they're like, "Hey, dude, no," or "Hey, dude, yeah."
Well, they shared his video.
Different time though. I mean, once
True.
again, totally different time. So
yeah, that's true.
They've changed a lot.
I went to E3 one year, and I met Frankie, who's the creative director of Bungie at the time, and he had some Microsoft executives with him. And Frankie trolled me. He was just like, "Dude, the show is not cool. You can't do that." And I'm just like, "Oh shit!" And they were like, "He's like, I'm just fucking with you." I'm like, "Ah." And I had some Microsoft executives pass me their business cards, like, "Hey, if you ever want to, talk about something." I don't know. I didn't have any new ideas or anything. I was quite happy doing what I was doing. But Frankie did tell me, I remember, like, at the beginning, it was kind of an issue. Like, Microsoft legal was like, "Uh-oh, what's this?" And Frankie had to go to them and be like, "It's okay. Just, he's making fun of the right thing." Like, in context, like, he's making fun of the toxic online behavior. We think that's a good thing. And also, he's making Halo look good. Like, yeah.
Don't we all wish Nintendo would take just a small page out of that book?
Yeah.
Just a little page.
Right.
Oh, man, I love it.
If I was making a show with Nintendo characters, I'd be flayed alive by now.
God,
True.
Yeah.
they would have came after you for sure. Oh my gosh.
Crucified upside down.
Wow. Man, I love it. I love the conversation. I love it. All right. So we've discussed, I don't know, what else is there? What have we not talked about that we need to talk about?
I have a question.
Yes,
sort of
Blaz.
related. Did you watch the Halo show, and what did you think of it?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't too impressed with it, unfortunately. I was very curious in the beginning. I was willing to give it a chance. I'm like, this might be cool.
Until he
It's
took
cool
his
in the
helmet
suit.
off.
Yeah, well, that's a whole, like...
Didn't they call
Actually-
him Master Cheeks or something? That's what they called him, Master Cheeks.
Yeah, right, because he showed his bare ass in one of the... Well, it's so funny, because, like, he kept taking more and more armor off as the episodes went on, and I think it was around episode 3 he was butt-ass naked, but before then, I like, thought in my head, like, it'd be so funny if he was naked in the next episode, and then he was. Like, I can't believe they did it.
Wait, he was naked?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's, like,
I didn't-
a whole
I didn't watch
sex
the show,
scene in
so-
there.
Yeah.
And like Cortana watches, right? That's what I've been told. Yeah.
So I
So
think what they
weird.
were going for, it's just like, yeah, this guy's, as this stoic hero, but like inside the armor, he's just a man sort of thing. That's what they were
And they
doing.
failed.
But yeah, it just came off as like more comedic than anything, I think. And the whole Chief revealing his face thing, it's like, do you do that? Do you not do that? Like, you're doing a television series where
You
this
definitely
guy
do
is-
not do that.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand the temptation to, like, we need to see his face of one of the main characters that we're following. Like, I don't know who's really the main character of that show, whether it's Quan or Master Chief, or
See,
I don't really know what they're doing.
I agree with Adam. Leaving the mask on, it allows you to imprint some of your own personality onto the character, and I think that's what makes it beautiful. And then you become more connected to that character. But that's just my
But it's
opinion on
also
it.
like that YouTuber Dream who did the face reveal and everyone's disappointed, and it's like the same thing.
No,
It's
I
like,
actually,
that's what you look like. Nah.
I actually agree as well. Ultimately, I don't think Chief should have taken his helmet off in the show, because I think they are underestimating just how much you can actually emote with like a helmet on, like just with simple head tilts and movements
And the voice.
like certain
Wow.
cinematography, the way you shoot it, like you can convey a lot of emotion even though you can't see a person's
I think
face.
the Mandalorian actually did that really
Look
well.
at
Right,
look
yeah.
at Data from Star Trek or Spock from Star Trek. This is all they did.
Right. Yeah. I'm just saying, I understand from a television executive's perspective that they would be like, oh, he can't have his helmet on the whole show. Are you kidding? They need to empathize with this character. I think that was a mistake, but I get it. But the show didn't turn out good, I don't think.
What a ride, man. What a ride. I love it. I love everything about it. I love this conversation. I love learning
Me too,
about
man.
this time of the internet. I want to read off some super chats while we have the
Yeah, go for it.
opportunity, and some Rumble rants as well. Appreciate y'all's support today. As Miku came in, says Arby and the Chief greater than red versus blue. Did you ever get any of that like back and forth?
I mean, the fans they see the rivalry there, but I mean, I was inspired by Rooster Teeth, man. Like, I saw the stuff they were making with Halo 1 and 2 before there was a theater mode, when you had to use a player as the camera so you could see a little reticule in the middle of the screen. And I was just like, oh, you can make movies with video games. I can do that. And then I did it.
Then you did it.
Yeah.
And we did not. This is answered, but Mad Monkey says, "What's the deal with Arby and the Chief in L.A.?"
Yeah, well, you heard
Explained
it. There
it.
you go.
Miku says, "Remember, you can't spell ignorant without I-G-N." Thank you so much, Miku. And Extra Zero says, "I miss Machinima of old. John, just wanted to personally thank you for all the entertainment you've given myself and others back in the day."
You're very welcome. I was happy to do it, man. I mean, I made the show for me as well. It wasn't a chore.
It's awesome.
I loved it. Yeah.
And
I mean, it's a grind sometimes, obviously, like anything, but it's fun.
I hear you on that, right, Blabs? Oh, no. Mad Monkey says, "I can't believe you guys got Gary Busey on here."
I'm not Gary Busey. I'm Nick Nolte.
Oh, my bad.
Yes, you're bad.
Thank you so much.
Jams Bonk, yeah. That was a James Bond parody I did. Chief is James Bond. His name's Jams Bonk.
Love it. Sal says, "Rooster Teeth's fallen so hard. Surprised WB hasn't sold it." Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think Rooster Teeth is.
Man, that whole thing was a mess. That Warner Brothers thing. Jesus.
Yes. I mean, they're. I've gone in and looked at their traffic, and I've done streams about this where I just kind of talk about Rooster Teeth because I worked for them for 3 years, and just if you look at their traffic, it's like here it is, and it's like, and it's just such a sharp decline. I think it's like 90% on their YouTube channel. It's like I don't even know how they can afford to make a living doing what they do at this point. So,
right.
Miku says, "I thought that was you. I'm so sorry. I was a kid."
LA episode.
I think, I figured, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't me, but I learned my lesson.
I get that a lot too. Man, I was such a jerk to you when I was a kid. JZ says, "I consider season 6 to be John's magnum opus. The character of Adam actually really resonated with me. I was acting like the pissant he was in middle school at the time. Learn to be better." Look at that. You're changing lives.
Nice.
Changing lives.
Yeah.
Very much. Very kind.
Miku says, "Not many people could have pulled off what you did in last season's finale, but you did great. Hope there's more to the future. Awesome possum. Say hi to Greg."
I will say hi to him. Greg's a spider in my show, by the way.
we saw him briefly.
He's a toy spider. Yeah, he hangs out with the toys.
And Sal says, "If this show isn't for the fans, then who is it for?" That's for everybody.
Oh, well, it's for
John's show?
the fans and me, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I try to make myself laugh with all my scripts, Like, what do I want to see? I think that's the key to success. If you start chasing, like, what does my audience want, trying to guess, and then making something that's, like, artificial and not you, that's a big mistake.
That's a very prominent statement that more people need to hear, especially these corporations that are, like, buying IPs and just change it. And they're not even trying to do what the audience want. They're doing what they think is what's best for the audience,
Right.
and changing characters, and it has nothing to do with love for the character anymore.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting. I'm not familiar with this person, but Miku says SMG4 uses Mario and Friends, and he's huge on YouTube. I'm pretty sure he was a part of Machinima too. Gotta wonder why Daddy N doesn't hammer them.
Daddy Nintendo.
Are you familiar with SMG4?
No. Is that a user, like, on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Apparently, it's like a Machinima done with Mario characters, which I have not seen this before, and it looks kind of similar, But
yeah, it's hard to tell who's gonna get picked off by, like, Nintendo or YouTube or whoever. Like, I was just reading the other day about somebody on YouTube who lost their channel because they had sexual depictions on a game called BattleBit, which is like Battlefield meets Minecraft. It looks really crude, like, graphics wise, but it's like one player is crouched in front of another player, and I assume is, like, moving their mouse up and down and making the head go like this, and so it looked like he was, providing sexual favors, and he got his channel, like, removed for that. And it's
That's
like,
stupid.
Are you kidding me? So, like, are you going to ban anything that has, like, teabagging in it? Where do you draw the line on this exactly?
I'm assuming this was on YouTube. Yeah, because YouTube,
yeah,
the pinnacle of video censorship.
And
Yes.
Nintendo, I mean, it's hard to tell who they'll go after. I mean,
Yeah, they pick
it
and
seems
choose.
Well,
if
that
it's
person
like-
had 7 million subscribers. Like, that's a big channel. You'd think they'd be on Nintendo's radar.
if it's something like somebody's modding like Breath of the Wild for like multiplayer or something, like I'm not surprised that Nintendo comes after them. I'm not supporting Nintendo coming after creators like that, but I'm just saying I'm not surprised by it. Like I can see them trying to take down somebody like that, but like little machinimas like that, yeah, it's hard to tell whether Nintendo's going to even bother with that or not, because I imagine there's a lot of stuff like that. You know.
And Sal says he was talking about the Halo show, but I get it. He was talking about if the show wasn't for the fans, who was it for? Right. Yeah. Thank you, Sal. Appreciate that.
For the money.
We have Diana over on Rumble says, "Yo, let's go. I love to y'all. God bless your day." And followed up with Dude saying, "Leet speak is great for passwords." It's true.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Diana says, "Welcome, John. You are in the best company here. Our loved side scrollers panel rocks."
I know that. I'm very happy to be here.
And Dude says, "Give us the list of words as a Rumble exclusive. All the words you couldn't say." Which, by the way, you can say all those words on Rumble, and you don't have to worry about the censorship that you'll see on YouTube. So just throwing it out there. Diana followed up with this question: if you make very little money but love what you do in life, is that enough to keep doing what you keep doing your work?
As long as you can like live off of that little money, you know,
Right.
if you can buy your food, pay for your house or you know, housing, whatever. Yeah,
If you can get by, have a roof over your head, eat, have some fun, and
Right.
save some money, yeah, I mean, you're
Yeah,
golden.
to
Even
save
if it's a
some
little
money.
bit, a little bit of savings,
Yeah.
if you are saving money, period, any
Yeah.
amount, I think you're doing good. And
Yep.
especially if like you enjoy what you do, for sure. I know a lot of people who like hate their job, and like I feel bad, you know, like
sucks.
yeah, like I got lucky falling into what I do because I love it.
We are all pretty lucky for sure. You know who's not lucky? If I can bring it all the way back to the beginning of the show.
Oh my God, what?
The people in the submarine, as unfortunately the landing frame and rear cover from the submersible amongst the debris that has been found. So that's Titanic submarine.
Oh, so they found pieces
They found
of it.
pieces, yeah.
So it did implode.
That's what they believe happened. They're still like talking about it. I'm watching it on BBC right now.
Yeah, my understanding, the rear covering is like the hatch, right? The rear hatch of it.
I don't know, but it sounds like they weren't as lucky today, unfortunately, to have this conversation. What a bummer. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Titanic lovers. All right.
Well,
Bummer.
I hope more people will stay away from the grave site now that it's another grave site.
Well, it just
It
continues
was already
to be
another
a
grave site. There was like
site.
thousands of people.
Yeah, that's rough. Either way, well, look, way to just bring it. I'm going to bring it all the way down to the end of the show. But I'll say this, man. I've really enjoyed this conversation, and John, I'm serious. I would love to watch and do a reaction with you for this video, this greatest business failure in YouTube history video. I would love to watch that with you here on StreamYard, and
so would I. That sounds great. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Do it.
We'll need to do
Let's
that.
do this.
I will set up a time very shortly with you after we're done. But look, you got anything else you want to throw out there before we wrap up?
Not really. Just do what you like to do, and try and monetize it if you can. And
there you go.
That's what I did. And I love what I do. I love making stuff. I love making videos. John Graham on YouTube if you want to like and subscribe and all that stuff.
Yep. Link is in the chat for everybody over on Rumble and on YouTube. Thank you, Trav, for getting that. Well, I said, I just want to tell you personally, I really appreciate what you've done. You know, your digital Führer all the way up until today, and Arby and the Chief is really big for me. It was great to have to watch it over the years and see growth. And like I said, you were a really important part of developing the internet into what it is today, which I think goes. I think it's a big statement, but I truly mean it.
Well, thank you very much, and right back at you, because I mean, under Screw Attack, you made great stuff, and you were much like me, just homemade gamers making cool videos on the web and putting it out there and trying to make people laugh and like really knowledgeable about your field. And you made really great stuff, and you should be proud as well. And
but no managers.
Craig already has a big enough head, so.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
All right, let's hit some memes before we head out of here, and just some memes that have been made on the show over the last little bit. Cloud came in and says, Blabs gets tired of Craig yelling at her during Castlevania. Let's check this one out. Obviously, with the Halo theme today. Blabs.
I promise I don't want to hit you.
Then we have Cloud says, Craig and Adam have a deep conversation.
You ever wonder why we're here? It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it? Why are we here? I mean, are we the product of some cosmic coincidence, or is there really a God watching everything, with a plan for us and stuff? I don't know, man, but it keeps me up at night. What? You guys?
Good old red versus blue.
What are they doing?
Yeah, straight out red versus blue right there. We got this one from Extra Zero, the crossover we all deserve.
Oh,
Adam and the Crag. I like this.
That.
You know what I love most about this Extra Zero? The blatant paintbrush that you can see behind here, and just the letters that just go right over the top.
Nice.
Love it.
Hey, you got to give extra credit to Extra Zero, because this dude, I remember the other day he was mowing his lawn, and like mid mow, he's like listening to us and like stopped to do a freaking meme, and then continued to mow his lawn. Like this guy gets it done. All right.
Legendary.
This guy gets it. All right, look. So, John, we're gonna set up a time to watch that, preferably pretty soon. A quick reminder, coming up in about 30 minutes or so, I'm going to be back with the Mario Funathon. Be starting that back up in a little bit. We're playing Yoshi's Island from 1995 as I continue my quest playing through all the games. Just finished up Lost Levels, and now we move on to Yoshi's Island, which should be a really fun time. So make sure you guys show up for that. A beautiful game, super fun, great music.
Good choice, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So make sure you guys show up for that. It'll be available on all of these channels, whether YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Twitter, the whole thing. Like I said, cast the net as wide as we can. John, thank you so much for your time today, man. We genuinely appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
For sure.
This is a pleasure. Thanks.
Pleasure's ours, man, for sure. Go follow Adam over on Rumble, over on Locals. Go follow Travis over on Twitter. Go follow Blabs over on Kick, because she's a Kickster.
Hey, follow me on Twitch too, because I'll be streaming on Friday.
Oh yeah, you have a birthday stream, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go follow on where, on Twitch or on Kick?
This name right under my fat face on Twitch.
There you go, on Twitch. Sounds good. Go follow that name under his big fat face. Sounds good. Tomorrow we're playing Smash Brothers for the first time. We'll see how it goes. It could be awesome.
Adam.
It could suck horribly, and Adam will not be joining us. Adam, I want to wish you a very successful and enjoyable midsummer tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's going to be great, and all your family.
Watch out for the
Thanks.
bears, I guess.
There's no bears.
There was a bear in the movie.
Yeah, movies are fully accurate. Yeah.
Listen,
Especially that one.
I've seen Star Wars.
Can I read something out for John? So my friend gave me like a crash course about you. And he tweeted out saying, these videos were very much a bright light for me at a time they came out. Very much more than just a silly robot voice dropping gamer words while playing Halo. This man is a legend. So.
Thank you very much. I took the writing of it seriously as I could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
It was cool. I did some crash course videos. I was like,
Nice.
Amazing.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, man. Hey, you guys have a great day. John, thank you again. We'll see you guys tomorrow for a little bit of Smash Brothers. I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes for some Mario fun time over with Yoshi's Island. Guys, have a great day. Remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. We'll see you guys later on. Have a great day. Bye-bye.